My name is Vivian, and I'm one of the educators here at the Chumash Indian Museum. Today, we're going to talk about making an abalone necklace craft. But before we start on that, I like to talk a little bit about the animal first, the abalone, because I think it's a really cool animal. Let me show you what I mean. An abalone is actually a snail, and one of the names for an abalone is a sea snail. So that also means that when you turn it like this part here of the animal is actually one giant foot. An abalone is mostly foot, and the name for these kinds of animals is a gastropod. Pod means foot. A couple other things about the animal. You see these holes up at the top here? Those holes are naturally occurring, and we're going to use them in our craft later on. The animal actually breathes through those holes. This shell right here, I'm just going to guess, based on what I know, is probably maybe 4 or 5 years old, based on its size. But look at this one. Look how big that is. This shell is maybe 10 or 15 years old. So abalones can live a long time, and they can get quite big. Now let's talk a little bit about the Chumash and how they used abalone. So abalone is something that at the time, before colonial times, Chumash people who lived on the islands and in the coastal region could collect abalone that was very abundant, and it was an excellent source of food, very nutritious. Another great thing about abalone is that everybody could help collect them, because abalone don't have teeth, they don't have claws, and they don't run away. They use their suction cup foot to stick onto the rock, so you do have to get a wedge to pry them off, but that's about it. Let's think about different ways we can use these shells. Here's an obvious one. Look at that nice big shell. What does that look like? A bowl, obviously, right? That's a nice big naturally occurring bowl. This can also be used as a scraper. This straight edge here can be roughed up and sharpened up with a hard rock like obsidian. You can make it nice and sharp, and then you can use that as a scraper, right? Basket weavers might need that for their fibers. Tamal builders might use that to help smooth out their planks, right? So nowadays, if you ever go fishing, you might use a lure on your fish hook, right? To attract fish. That was the same idea with fish hooks made from abalone, because abalone, as you can see, is very shiny and beautiful. And when the sun catches it, especially through water, bling. And of course, another use of abalone shells was decoration. Abalone shells are very beautiful. They have lots of pretty colors and patterns. Each one is unique. And Chumash people would use them to decorate their tamals, their houses, tools, instruments, and of course, jewelry. Chumash people would love to make and wear abalone shell necklaces, just like the one we're making today. Chumash people today still love to wear shell jewelry and are quite proud of their abalone shell jewelry. Chumash means shell bead maker, and the Chumash were famous for making shell beads that they traded all over the continent. But they did not use abalone shells to make those shell beads. They preferred olivella shells. But they would use abalone shells to trade with, the whole shell. Because if you think about it, a long time ago, before we had photographs and videos, before we could travel fast and easily, people who lived in the middle of the continent and had never seen the ocean before, if you walked up to them and you showed them this in the sun, that would be amazing. They'd never seen anything like that. It would be very valuable. So the further you go away from the coast, the more valuable this becomes. Unfortunately, abalone on the California coast is endangered. Endangered means that they're not extinct, but we're worried about them going extinct. That means that we've passed laws to protect them so that that doesn't happen. But don't worry, here at the museum, we have gotten our abalone shells from an aquaculture farm. Aqua means water, and an aquaculture farm is a farm that grows water, plants, and animals. So this abalone farm up near Pismo Beach, by the way, Pismo is a Chumash word that means tar. they grow abalone. They sell the animal inside to fancy restaurants and expensive grocery stores because they're endangered, therefore they're rare, and therefore they're expensive. And then they provide the shells to us so that we can use them here at our museum. And then we can make them available to you.